Welcome to Deck Discussions. This is Jeff and Becky here. We've had the rainiest spring that Michigan has had in several years, and yet you guys are still knocking those decks and docks out. What kind of projects have been the biggest things on your tally? And I know that you've been doing some pretty major projects. Can you talk to us about, what did you say it was, the emergency cliff?
Yeah, emergency cliff rebuild in Coloma was a client that reached out to us last fall. Kind of a tragic scenario where they went with a different contractor. Things didn't work out, but they already paid for all this stuff to happen, and we had to tear it all out and start over. After they already had tenants scheduled to start in that property, full 500 square foot deck, torn down, start over, 50 steps, 3 landings going down a very steep cliff, completely covered in poison ivy, of course, all the way down to Paw Paw Lake. So gorgeous lakefront property with a dock out in the water and no way for the Airbnb guests to actually get down the hill. So they had to, start canceling weeks worth of visitors. So we hired a couple brand new contractors through Express Employment. It was super helpful in finding some good carpentry talent for us there. And some of the past Gumbies who kind of have their own businesses now, I was able to get them to come back as an emergency, crew extension and kind of take things over so that I knew that they had the skills and the familiarity with how we do things, that they could kind of take over and I could just, pop in and out as my schedule allows. Because we're already booking into July now at this point. And here we are, 2.5 weeks onto this emergency rebuild. And maybe I'm there every day for an hour. Sometimes it's 2 or 3 days that I'm not there. A few times I've been there for half a day or most of the day. But, Cam and his guys are really knocking that out of the park, doing a great job. Super blessed to have their talents and their ability to see the big picture on what we need to do. So all that's left with that is installing some very simple straight across boards, some trim around the edges, and then they're putting up railings. And we got top of the line aluminum Westbury railing system going all the way around the whole 500 square foot top deck, going all the way down all the stairs and turns and landings. And I'm sure we'll put some pictures up here because this is just really cool. And I don't know, $15,000 worth of just the components themselves, not including all of the attachment points and the labor to put them together. And, all of that was just delivered yesterday. And then of course it rains all day today, so we didn't get anything put up today. But that's kind of how this season has been, where we think we've got clear skies and then it rains all day. And then a couple of days later, the forecast is rain and we're like, we've already missed too many days. We're going to show up and we're going to build anyway. We get tents all set up and then it's bone dry. It doesn't rain all day and we're super productive. And it's like, yes.
So let me ask you about that. What is your strategy, or I would say your philosophy, on how Semper Gumby handles projects that are time sensitive, like the one that you had just mentioned?
Yeah. So we handle projects in priority order of when we make agreements with the clients. So I can't say we are going to start your project on this specific day, but I can say you are this next in line. We have 2 people in front of you, or something like that. And I told these clients, straight up front on the phone, like, I'm sorry to hear about this, this other company not being able to fulfill your need. I'm booked out a couple of weeks right now. Let me see if I can talk to the guys who I'm able to, get some overtime or some weekend hours, because we typically don't work on weekends. How many extra people can I find that are talented that I can hire in short notice? That's where Express really came in handy. And then, reaching out to former Gumbies that had their own other jobs or had their own companies now, and being like, hey, can you guys just step in for a couple of days or for a week? Like, can I buy some of your time back to help these clients that have an immediate need? And everyone was super supportive of that and jumped on board. We got 3 winners right out the gate from Express that, these guys know what they're doing. If you guys, any of you are watching this, shout out to Scott and Anthony and to Cody, our brand new guy, just started this week. They're doing great. They show up, they know what they're doing, they're hardworking. Couldn't be happier with what they've been able to do. And, just be like, Cam, I got new guys. Tell them what to do, put them to work, and then I keep working on the other stuff that we already had scheduled. Like, I can't cancel on somebody else just because somebody else has an emergency now. So how do I fill both needs? Hire extra people. When you're hiring an extra company that's in the middle, that costs more money. If you're having people work extra hours that you're paying overtime, people crawling down a cliff and getting covered in poison ivy, do I give them hazard pay? I mean, is this like, military special forces? Hey, go get it done, right? There's got to be compensation and figure it out. So it's prioritizing the company as a whole, prioritizing each of our clients' needs, and then where is the gray area where we can stretch something? Where can I put in some extra time? Where do I need to put my own personal time? We just had, Memorial Day, got to go away and relax with the family for a long weekend. But that Tuesday after we came back, I was gone for 16 hours straight. Just first appointment was at 6 a.m. I was picking up stuff at Lowe's before they even opened, like just waiting for the doors to be unlocked. And then didn't finish up my last customer appointment until 10 o'clock that night. When the weather's good, you make up the time where the rain prevented you from doing anything. And, we did kind of get rained out this afternoon, gave us a little bit more free time today. But we're going to have to hit it hard on Monday. So
how has that been? You've added 9 additional people in the past month or so to your core crew.
Yep.
How has that been mentally for you as a leader?
Yeah, great question. So the extra people that have showed up this time have all been excellent. And I'm really happy with how it works out. But when you're meeting somebody for the first time, anybody who's been through a hiring or an interview process knows that you can be a great person, but you might not be a good fit for this job or for this environment. We've got still lots of young, high school students and college students that come in and work part-time over the summer. Whether or not carpentry or construction of any sort is going to be their permanent career, they're helpful. And I'm thankful for every single one of them. But having Express send us qualified carpenters with years, if not a decade of experience in just tool handling. It doesn't have to be building a deck. Like, they understand, keep your fingers away from the saw. Like, it's funny how many high schoolers you have to tell them that. Just like, no, stop. Don't put your hand on the handle, not down here. Okay, good. We're done at that. And so I've got new people on my core crew on our in-house payroll. I've got new people coming through Express, project-specific help. And we've got, other companies that I've subbed out work to now. And so I have to still manage all of that. And, your integration with, handling our payroll and our hours and tracking and has definitely taken a load off for that. We got cool system where everybody's texting you and me in a little group chat just labeled, payroll for Chris, and when we can look back at it and reflect, hey, this is how many hours for this day. But that takes mental energy off of me on a daily basis, that we can just scroll through a designated spot, find all the hours that were billed that they're saying, hey, I worked this many hours. How do you do business integration? Well, every job is different. And if you had software that was super, super complicated, not everybody could use it. So it's cool that we've got this, just a spreadsheet basically that we can track everybody and, figure out where everything needs to go.
Jeffrey, it's been great talking to you. If you would like to learn more about building your oasis, check out our website at sempergumbyconstruction.com. Thanks. We'll see you next time.